One of the things I think a lot of modern martial artists shortchange themselves on is experimenting, at least somewhat, with the internal martial arts. Because now a lot of the focus is on MMA and modern hybrid synthesis arts and all that. And in fact, I was in one of those types of gyms right here the other day when I took this video after class. So I believe in doing that stuff, of course, and cross-training like crazy and the very physical stuff, groundwork, etc. But even if you're focused in that area, the more external arts, whether modern or traditional, this stuff is really worth playing around with. And obviously today I want to talk about Bagua Zhang, Kung Fu circle walking, essentially. And Tai Chi would be by far the most famous of the big three Chinese internal arts. Sheng Yi is the other one, which is the most kind of readily combat applicable of the three internal arts. This one here, Bagua Zhang, is by far the strangest and most esoteric of them. So, theoretically a martial art, but you basically spend your time walking in lots and lots and lots of circles. I'm not going to pick apart the veracity of how applicable to self-defense this kind of training is, because if you're doing this kind of a thing, it's probably not primarily for that purpose, although there are actual fight moves encoded in here, but you're doing it really because it's good for you. Why is walking in a circle like this good for you? I don't know, but what I can tell you is if you do this for a little bit, give it a chance, do it for a while, it feels great. And not just in that I'm doing physical activity way, no, it feels great in that internal way. I don't know whether or not you believe in Qi or anything like that, etc., but it feels very, very beneficial in a way that's hard to describe. And this is the kind of thing, again, Tai Chi, a more obvious, famous example. People do Tai Chi late into life, and it's great for you. I was doing this in a separate room as a cool down after a grappling class, so all to say my flexibility is not terribly impressive here. I know, but yeah, my muscles were pretty sore after all the warm-up exercises and then rolling. And doing this kind of moving meditation, because that's what it is, after the more, purely physical type workout, martial arts workout, is a really nice compliment. I would say circle walking gives you a distinctly different feel from Tai Chi, even though they're both internal Qi cultivation, all that stuff. Something about the motions, the constant circle, you're looking in the center of the circle, that's kind of this focal point, so a lot of times in China they'll walk around a tree over and over. And my suspicion is the unique feel that I get off of this exercise has something to do with that, this kind of sensory perception experiment that you're doing. I mean, do you ever in normal life or exercise or whatever walk in circles while staring at a fixed point? Well, and of course you don't. So that really does something to, your vision is tracking the focal point, say the tree, or just looking straight out ahead, and you have everything else spinning around you slowly. I think that shakes up your brain, your perception, in a way. It's just so different. Kind of like meditating with your eyes closed, because like in the Western world, we only close our eyes when we go to sleep, right? So if you actually sit there and close your eyes and pray or meditate or whatever, and take it seriously and do it for more than 5 seconds, you can kind of feel a change come on. And back to the note about moving meditation, you can see some of these movements here, they're, fairly complex, so you're meditating not just while moving in a very slow, controlled manner, but in a little bit more of an athletic way. And I think that's maybe also part of why this feels so different. But how in the world did this really strangest of martial arts come to be? Well, kind of sort of via this guy here. This is Lao Tzu, who invented Taoism. This is one of the major belief systems originating in China, of course, and even if we don't know much about it, and I don't, we certainly know a symbol that came from it, one of the most famous symbols in the world. The Tao, or the yin-yang symbol as it's commonly called in the West, I guess, and notice the predominant shape here is, of course, a circle. And the thing is, in Chinese symbolism, there's more to it than just this, much more, so some of you might be familiar with the trigrams. As seen here, there's 8 of them, so these 3-part symbols. This is all part of the I Ching, the Book of Changes, and as you can see, there's meaning behind each of the symbols. And I'm certainly not going to pretend to understand it, but the important thing is you'll notice here there's a cosmological map that plays into this. Heaven is at the top, we've already scrolled past that. Earth is at the bottom, and you can see some of the other values. And again, not trying to delve into the complexities of Taoism, which I'm definitely not qualified to explain, the bottom line from a martial arts perspective is that the exercises of the circle walking is basically a physical manifestation of this belief system and cosmology. And even if you're just dabbling in this like I am, it adds a new aspect, which is a mental one, to the physical and the meditative that you're already doing. So while I'm going around a circle, I try to recite in my head which point I'm at. Heaven, lake, fire, thunder, etc. You get the idea. And doing that is more interesting and challenging than just counting, because you can't just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 every time you complete a circle. But now let's finish off the story about how this all came to be. You're looking at the founder of the martial art, Dong Haichuan, born in the very late 1700s, had kind of a general martial arts, Chinese martial arts education, but at some point was taught circle meditative walking from a Taoist teacher or teachers, and he kind of combined that with his martial arts knowledge to make this very distinctive style. And real quick, as we wrap up, from a practicality standpoint, I mean, say what you will, I know it's hard to imagine this being practical, but the idea is that the circular motion is keeping your opponent off balance, keeping them from locking in on you. You get a hold of them and spin them to the ground. And there is a weapons curriculum within this art as well, and a very distinctive one. One of the signatures is, get ready for this if you've never seen it, the super giant oversized sword. Now, would you ever fight with that? Well, of course not, but it's probably fun to train with it. I'm going to have to try it at some point. I don't know where you get your hands on one of those. Anyway, pretty interesting stuff. So different from so many other arts. If nothing else, it is a very unusual and challenging way to make yourself kind of move, meditate, think, remember the cosmology map, and train, as in practice some martial arts moves, all at the same time. Real quick, I forgot, this symbol here, when it's not just the, let's call it yin-yang, but it has the trigrams as well, that's called the Bagua symbol, and that is why this martial art has that word in its title. Okay, now I really will close, but yeah, if you're kind of a martial artist who doesn't ever try this kind of thing at all, I challenge you, just take the very simplest form that you find online, and just the most fundamental version of walking in circles. Don't worry about the changing directions that are called changing palms, all that stuff. None of it. Just go in one direction over and over and over again. Try to meditate while you do it. Try to do it right and see if it doesn't feel really good. And thanks for watching.